Welcome, one and all, to the world of August Keys, an independent fantasy writing project done in the hope of sharing a new setting inspired by, but free of, the forerunners that came before it. Before I begin, I just want to thank everyone who stops to listen to this video. This is the beginning of a long and difficult journey, and the support of those who listen, even if it's just one person, will be enough to help me carry on. It'll be rough to start out, but my hopes are high and I have many, many stories to tell. I'm aware that some of them won't be liked, or they'll be bad, or some of them won't seem very inspired, but through it all, they are my stories, and simply telling them is reward enough for me, honestly. I don't expect anything I make to become huge, let alone very popular, so to those who do stop to take the 10 to 20 minutes out of their day to listen to some nerd's homebrew, I just want to say thank you for listening, and now, on to the sales pitch. Let me ask this. What is the world of August Keys? Well, in layman's terms, it's a D&D setting. It's my homebrew, and I like it, and it's really cool. But I hope for it to be the avenue through which I can express writing not only made by myself, but of those who wish to tell grand and deep stories inside a rich fantasy world. Akin to the likes of The World That Was of Warhammer Fantasy, or Tamriel of the Elder Scrolls, my hope is to display a vast and unique fantasy world filled with compelling characters, interesting lore, and unique aesthetics previously unseen in the genre. Now, I understand that the field of fantasy is one saturated with hundreds of different medias, and so how do I set myself apart? Well, namely, I hope to express just how deep and wide the setting I have created is, despite its origins as a once humble D&D homebrew. In my writing, I've gone to lengths to try and differentiate, while respect, the tropes and norms expected of the genre, whether that be aesthetic or writing choices, while also hoping to weave narratives that make the world feel alive and lived in. With that in mind, I also want to express just how much of an enthusiast I am for world building and lore, as I've fully intended to accompany my videos with lore videos that hope to explain the background, characteristics, and customs unique to my setting, as they're seen in the stories that accompany them. I'm not exaggerating when I say I have hundreds of pages of documents chock full of lore and writing just to explain some character that is dead by the time of a story to happen. So when the fantasy genre becomes inundated with relatively flat, uninspired medias that use the world to facilitate the story, like High Guardian Spice or maybe Willow, as controversial a claim that is, I do love Willow, I seek to do the reverse. I want my stories to facilitate the world, which I hope you enjoy. Nevertheless, with you joining me on the first steps towards a large and impossible task, I hope to make it worth your while. Not everything will be released at first, naturally, and I hope you ask questions. Those are my favorite thing as a writer. I know the rule is to show, don't tell, but I just really like telling. Telling stories, that is. Anyway, like I said, there will be trials and tribulations, and it's going to be rough starting out, but by the end of it, a self-made beginning will hopefully be testament to the greatness waiting ahead of us. Thank you for listening, and welcome to the world of August Keys.